Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Cues on the Move. This is our eighth season, our second broadcast of the year, and we are so excited to be talking about something that the young people are the best at, and it's eons and eons of great things that are happening that provide them the opportunity to change this world like never before. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about artificial intelligence. We're going to be talking about gaming, and we're going to be talking about young people taking the next step to make this country that much better. And so I have four amazing guests with me tonight, and I'm going to be introducing them individually as we move forward. And so we got a lot to cover, so I want to jump right in to what we're doing. But first, the Cues on the Move podcast is designed to help tell the story of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the second district, and specifically what we are doing in the areas of fatherhood and mentoring. This particular podcast is going to be focusing on some things that we're doing in STEM. And so my first guest is Brother Tim Brown, who runs the STEM committee. So welcome, Brother Brown. How are you tonight?
I'm doing excellent, Brother Stevens. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, brother, thank you so much for coming through. And so, Darius, what we'll do is we'll just plug right into the speaker view and run with Brother Brown first. And so, Brother Brown, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and specifically, what is the STEM committee and what do you guys do?
Well, first of all, let me say that it's a pleasure for me to represent the second district of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, which represents the states of Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. And as you mentioned, I am the co-chair of the second district STEM committee, of which that committee intends to inspire historically underrepresented populations to pursue STEM disciplines by engaging students, parents, or Omega chapters throughout the second district, as well as those brothers individually, by increasing their awareness and implementation of STEM programming at the local level, at the corridor level, and also at the district level. And so we intend to do that by making sure that we put together the infrastructure within the second district that will enable us to not only up-level the different programs that's going on at each one of our at each one of our chapters, but also to gather that information in a way where we can show the overall impact of the work that the chapters are doing throughout the second district, so that we can ultimately use that information to promote some of those best practices even beyond the second district and throughout Omega. For this year, we aspire to achieve, or at least to touch, at least 5,000 students across the second district and help them understand what those STEM disciplines are and encourage them to pursue STEM as a career option in their future.
Oh, that's great stuff, brother. I know a famous quote that I always heard was that you don't know what you don't know. And so there are a lot of young people here that really don't know the extent of the things that they can do in STEM. How do you think mentoring plays a role in the area of STEM?
Well, I mean, you can't have one without the other, right? In another organization I've been in, there's a saying, you say, what they see is what they'll be. So first and foremost, we need to ensure that we provide that representation of individuals that are already, that already have STEM careers. Myself, I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm now leading an organization within Johnson & Johnson. And so, it's good for the youth to see individuals like ourselves so that they can understand, hey, I can do it as well. And we can help them understand not only what our journey was, but what type of work that we're doing now, right? And the type of impact that we're making. And so you can't have one without the other. You can't help to promote awareness and inspire and encourage our youth to produce STEM without actually providing some mentorship.
Wow, man. Thank you for that. That brings me to my next guest. He is one of the people that really brought this whole idea to me to tie video games into what we're trying to do with pushing, with mentoring with young people, because we're meeting them where they're at. He has a very great story and a phenomenal company. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to introduce my good friend Stephen Sy, CEO of Futures First Gaming. So, Steve, how you doing tonight?
Good, Matt. Thanks for having us. Appreciate you.
Great, brother. All right, tell us a little bit about Futures First Gaming. When did it start? Why did it start?
Well, a little bit about formally, Futures First Gaming is a STEM.org accredited EdTech media and esports entertainment company. And what we do is we bring together gamers to engage in competition and recreational gaming, as well as then fostering a gaming community and presenting opportunities for these participants to explore career pathways in the esports industry and other technology adjacent industries. Basically, that's just a fancy way of saying we're using video games to attract today's youth, especially with a focus on gamers of color and women, and teach them about all of the technology opportunities that are inside of the gaming industry, but then can also transfer to any other industry out there. Now, we started in 2020 and really started because myself and my two co-founders fell in love with one another's passions for gaming. We really just had a conversation, basically said, identified the fact that we all love to play video games, but there was really no formal community here where we are in the state of Delaware. We would have to go to Philly or New York or down to DC. And so we started a community gaming here, and we started to understand all of the career path opportunities that are never presented to people that look like us. And so we wanted to break that barrier, break that cycle. And so we entered into the industry and became one of the proudly few Black-owned esports companies in this technology space.
Man, well, we're going to support you every way we can possibly support you with the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. And so the question that I have for you is, you are mentoring people all over the place. I guess I want to ask you two questions. Who mentored you to have that insight to be able to turn your passion into a business? And then number two, what do you think is the most important thing that a person can do to mentor a young person in the STEM area?
Sure. So for me, it started early. My grandfather actually owned a television repair business. So when I used to hang out at pop-ups, I used to go in the shop, man, and I would just tinker around with all the electronics that he had in there. And he was actually one of the first people on our street that actually have a personal computer. And so I'm dating myself, but these were the days where you would insert the floppy disk, turn down the drive, and you would hear it boot up. But that's when I first got exposed to like rudimentary games like Pong and some of the old school games that some of these kids have no clue the beginnings. And then from there, I just became intrigued with the development of how games were progressing and how technology was progressing. And so went from there to a ColecoVision, to an Atari, to a Nintendo. And now we've got, PS5s and Xboxes and personal computers or PC gaming. And so, I am a gamer through and through. I'm a streamer. I'm a live streamer. I'm a content creator. I not only teach what we teach, but we practice it. You should see my setup I have before me right now. But really, it was being exposed to the opportunity, and that's what far too often doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Our communities are taught that, if you want to play video games, you got to do it in this finite world. And there's a whole bigger world and community out there that we want to make sure that we provide accessibility to for our community. And really what we do at Futures First Gaming is we discover whether or not an individual has a passion to go further than just be, a recreational gamer. And if so, then we have programs that'll teach them how to code, how to design games, and also how to create content, monetize that content, and potentially be the next Kai Cenat.
Man, that is phenomenal stuff. I'm going to be back to you, but it gave, when you said tinker around, it led me to the first time I met this young man, Jamal. When I first met him, his mom called me. I didn't know her, but she called me and says, "Hey, I would like my son to participate in your mentor program. He's a little older and he's a little taller than most of the boys that you're working with, but he loves working with video games, and I want to see if you can if he'd like the program." So I says, "Sure, come on out." So this young man comes, and he's a big young man. He fills the door, but he's the most humble young man on the planet Earth. And the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, Mr. Stevens, can I take a crack at some of these computers?" So I says, "All right, go ahead," because some of them wasn't working. And so he pulls out a little toolkit and starts sitting down at the computer, and he done took the keyboard apart and so forth and so on. Now, I was praying that the IT guy didn't come in when he was doing it, but he didn't. But at the end of the day, he fixed the computer, and we've been moving along ever since. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome an honors student, a young man who's the most humble young brother on the planet, young brother that we really is leading our program, Brother Jamal. Brother Jamal, how you doing tonight?
I'm good.
It's good to hear your voice, man. Good to see you and your mom. So tell us, brother, what school do you go to now, and what are you looking to do next year when you become a college student?
As of right now, I go to Immaculate Conception in Montclair, New Jersey. Next year, I plan on going to William Patterson in Patterson, New Jersey. Wayne, New Jersey.
And what are you going to be studying?
Computer science.
Oh man, I would imagine that, right? So what do you like about computers, and what kind of is your passion?
So it's just a lot that I like when it comes to computers, like how much you can do with them, and especially when you really dive into them and do more on it than just what's on the surface.
Give me an example.
Okay. So with your computer, if you have to download JIT commands, and you can connect your computer to GitHub in a way. So then when you go into your command bar, you can enter in a few commands and download stuff directly off of GitHub.
Wow, you just spoke Greek to me. I don't know what in the world you just said, but it sounded good. You get a PhD. just So, are you have you started to work with artificial intelligence yet?
Yes, already I have been using them for creating this app to assist people with diabetes, and I would have an idea, bring that to AI, or if I have problems with my code, I'll bring that to AI, and just keep going back and forth between that and the executor to see what's working and what isn't working.
Man, I am so impressed, so proud, and so honored to be in your life, young man. You are really what this is all about, and we really want to continue to push, promote, and hopefully one day you'll be a part of us and being able to work with us in a variety of different ways. But you couldn't have done it alone, and that is my way to really push this to what we call the Superwoman on our broadcast, and I call her that because, like her son, she is also one of the most humble people on the planet, but she's also one of the most accomplished people on the planet, doing all kinds of things. A college professor, college administrator. She runs all of the youth programs for the local NAACP, and probably 1,000 other hats. But tonight, the hat I really want to focus on is the Supermom hat. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Tia Cherry, mother of Jamal Smith. Hey, Tia, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having us tonight.
No problem. So I guess from the mom's perspective, you got to be proud of your son.
Oh, absolutely. Over the moon proud. And also he's being, like you said, a little humble, but the app that he is referring to, he actually won a bronze medal for with the NAACP AXO competition.
Wow.
So yes, so he's being a little too humble right now, but that's mom's job to always brag and just show off his accomplishments, because I'm very proud of him.
Oh, sounds good. What are you excited about for him? Because I know you're an educator as well, and you've done a phenomenal job in influencing him so that he is now doing all of the work. He's an A student. What are you looking forward to the most in these next couple of years?
Just to see where this goes for him. At the moment that I saw that he had an interest in computers, I made sure to fuel that. And one thing that I wanted to stress, when you had mentioned, his stature, a lot of people assume, because my son is 6'6", so a lot of people assume, you're a young Black boy and you're tall, or you're going to play basketball, you're going to play football. And I would say to him, I'm like, no, Jay, tell them I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to be, whatever it is that you want to do. Don't be ashamed of that, because people are putting, their own stereotypes and ideas on you. And I made sure to fuel that from day one. So his freshman year, he was in Generation Code, which was a summer program with Apple and Rutgers Newark. I made sure to put him in the NWA program. Anything that I could think of, your mentoring program, because I wanted to make sure that he was on the right track and he stayed there.
Wow. Well, he is doing exactly what we're looking for him to do. I'm going to shoot back over to Brother Brown and then kind of have a general conversation. So, Brother Brown, I know your wheels are turning as it relates to all of the things that the mentor program and the STEM program are going to be able to do in the future. What are some things that you are most excited about in this upcoming year?
Well, first and foremost, I just excited about meeting young men, young people such as Jamal. It just gives me so much inspiration and just so much hope, right? To see what they're capable of and some of the things that they will do in their future. I can't help but also put on my recruiting hat, so I won't get too deep there, but just know that part of the mentoring is helping you prepare for your journey, your career, your profession, regardless if you decide to start your own business or work for a major corporation. And so it's important to keep in mind those individuals that you meet through these mentoring programs that are in positions to hire people, or at least help to make that path easier when you're seeking employment opportunities. And so part of what I continue to think about is how we can create that impact with thousands of youth throughout our second district to help them understand what that path forward is, right? And to really help them really see those possibilities to change the world, right? I mean, 10 years ago, many of us weren't talking about AI. Now, AI has been around for decades, even though in different forms, but nevertheless, the masses are really talking about it and starting to leverage it. Can you imagine 20 years from now, what type of technology is going to be out there, and for us to expose our youth to those possibilities and help them to start to think about how might they be the ones that are creating the new AI or whatever the new technology is that's going to change the way that we live, the way that we just do business, and so I'm just so excited about those possibilities to help to educate our youth with regards to the possibilities for their future.
Oh, great stuff. I think we might be having some technical difficulties with the picture because we heard your voice, but we just kept looking at Dr. Cherry. Good thing you're nice to look at, Dr. Cherry. we stayed on you. All right, so I'm going to jump to Stephen's side for a sec. Steve, when Jamal, his mom indicated that he's going to get his bachelor's degree and his master's degree at the same time, what do you think about that? Because you're actually working in the field and you're hiring people like Jamal. Would you hire a guy like Jamal, coming out with a master's degree at 21, 22 years old?
In a heartbeat. One of the first things that I was going to say was, Jamal, man, if you're looking for an internship, some of your freshman year, make sure you hit me up.
I got him first. I just want you to know I got him first. Don't play no game. And we pay well over here. So, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we could definitely we can game for that one. We can load up. No, but
you can do both, man. Brother.
I mean, and one of the biggest things is, we talked about representation matters, right? And especially in programming and around AI, we are not well represented in the behind the scenes in the back end. And so when you're working with tools like AI tools, and you're asking those tools to generate content, generate images, et cetera, what's coming back, things that aren't necessarily represented by that look like us, or are representing our viewpoint. So to have more people that look like us behind the scenes, actually being the ones that are coding, actually being the ones that are writing the prompts, that's just going to do nothing but advance our people. And so that's why we focus on gamers of color, tech of color, and women, because we want to make sure that we're not left behind.
Hey man, you making me force Dr. Cherry put on another hat, because now I'm going to ask her to put her NAACP hat on and just talk about why is what we just said so important, coming from the perspective of your work with the NAACP.
It's very important because I don't think we highlight enough of the positive aspects of our communities. So many times, especially on social media, on the news, like you see so many negative things, but we need more opportunities like this. And I'm going to tap you both. So I'm going to hold you to it to see if we can do some type of partnership. We're trying to grow our youth council program, that our branch president, Danielle, is doing a phenomenal job with. And, if there's anything that we can do, please let us know, because we're always looking for those partnerships. But it's very important because we want to kind of change the narrative. We want people to know that, no, we are doing some amazing things. We're doing some great things. And we want to highlight those things, like I tell people all the time, okay, that's fine. You think college isn't for everyone? Okay, well then go pick up a trade. Okay, you don't want to do the trade? Okay, that's fine. What else do you think that you're good at? I did a workshop today with some students overcoming imposter syndrome. And the number one thing that I said to them was, what is it that you do on a regular basis? And a lot of them said, they're on their phone or on social media. I said, would you believe me if I told you that you can take something that you do every day and you can make money from it? And they're like, really? And I'm like, absolutely. Do you know how many people would pay you to run their social media? Do you know how many people would pay you? Someone said they had a knack for coding. That's something that they do as a hobby. I said, do you know how many people would pay you to teach them how to code? Or, and it's like just taking it and doing a different spin. And the other thing is, because I've been in higher education for 15 years. So for me, of course, I'm going to always push our students to go to college, because if there's more doctors, if there's more nurses, if there's more lawyers that look like us, guess what? We don't have to worry about being shortchanged or being discriminated against or anything of that nature, because we're representing our people. Like you said, you can't be what you don't see. So I definitely push that. And again, if that's not for you, that's fine too. I want to help you so you can find what your purpose is, so we can work towards that as well, so we can ultimately enhance the social capital of our people.
Got you. Well, Brother Brown, working with what you're trying to do with STEM and the 5,000 young people that you are trying to introduce to it this semester, one of my goals is to ensure that every one of them has an individual mentor in the area of STEM. Is that something that you think you and I can work together on?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is imperative. I think it's imperative. I mean, it's, the short term is to have a program where we expose the youth to STEM. The longer play is how do we help to inspire them and encourage them along the way, and just continue to educate them. And the only way you could do that is by having some type of mentorship relationship where they can continue to go back and ask questions, as they explore the different opportunities.
Got you. Now, Stephen, this allows me to jump right into you, because in the past we've had conversations. You says, Matt, there are hundreds of jobs in the area of gaming in and of itself. The gamer has to have an eye doctor. He has to have a massage therapist. He has to have an accountant. He has to have a social media person, because almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, he's got to be gaming, right? And so I hope I didn't steal your thunder, but kind of talk to us about what are some of the options and availabilities in the gaming sector.
So I'm glad you asked that. So if you are truly a hardcore gamer, obviously you have an opportunity to hone your skills, right, and become a professional gamer. And what does that mean? That means whether it's, traveling to different tournaments and winning prize money. It could be garnering endorsement deals. It could, you could, especially like with NIL, there's a similar opportunity in the gaming space.
Wow.
And sort of that's at the core of it, right? But think about professional leagues like the NBA, the NFL, right? Those are all all sports that have an economic engine that's powering them. The same happens in the esports industry, which is a several $100 billion industry every year. So when you think of that, there are jobs, jobs, and jobs. So for example, there are leagues, right, that require coaches, theory crafters, analysts, etc. There are events that require the skill of event planning, so ticket sales, concessions, infrastructure. There are the content creation side, right? So, and then there is sort of the entrepreneurial piece, which we talked about, getting a skill in tech and being able to market yourself, but also, like in the gaming space, you can create overlays, right? You can create gaming assets, logos, things like that. But if you think about that gentleman, his name was Kyle Giersdorf. He goes by the name Booga. 16 years old, he won the Fortnite World Cup back in 2018. He won $3 million. Instantly, overnight, he became a brand. He became a corporation. And as such, he is going to and has required a media team, a legal team, an accounting team, a esports medicine team, a psychology team. So any individual can work in any profession that they so choose, even if they take a traditional educational route and become a doctor, right? But you can still have a passion for gaming and be an esports medicine professional. So there are tons of opportunities to be in the immediate gaming space as well as the peripheral space. But when you think about the skills that also accompany that, right? Marketing, content creation, social media, video editing, graphic design, every one of those professional titles is transferable to any other industry that's out there.
Got it. Hey, Jamal, I want to jump over to you, man. Part of one good thing about being 16, 17, 18 years old is you still get to be 16, 17, 18. Are you enjoying being a young man? Do you actually, because a lot of times I see you always in a book, and which is good. I want you to continue to stay in those books. But I want you to also, like when for Christmas we gave you a bike, and you was riding the bike just like a young man would. Are you having some fun, man? Are you having fun? Are you be able to enjoy life?
Yes, I am. I recently got a gym membership, so I go there after school.
Cool. Good stuff. T, I had a question for you because I know when my son was growing up, one of the things we just say, well, get off that game and get in the book. Now, the kids, like Stephen had just said, playing the game can make you a billionaire, a millionaire. Did you ever have any problems with kind of saying, hey, get off that game? Or as a parent with this new age, how do you kind of weigh the difference?
In the beginning, absolutely. It was always get off the game. I need you to focus. I need you to get in the books. And just to rewind a little bit, again, because of his height, initially he did start with basketball when, he was like in like around 6th grade, somewhere around there. And I remember speaking, because I'm big on academics, I'm an educator at heart. And I remember speaking with his coach. We had a one-on-one conversation, and he's like, oh, no, I can assure you academics is first. They're going to do their homework before they, practice this and that. And I'm like, okay, but he failed to mention that no one's checking it. So when I looked at his report card, I'm like, wait a minute. You told me, you gave me your word. They will be doing their work before they did anything. So I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Get off the game. We're going to take a break from this basketball because I need you to focus on, your academics. And, we make sacrifices for our children. So I remember paying, I think around like $500 for varsity tutors to make sure that he was good, especially when we went through the pandemic because they weren't in class. And, with this new math and everything, it was like French to me. So I said, you know what? He's worth it. Let me make sure that he has a good footing because I want him to have the same opportunities I had and then some. And then it got to a point where it was like, wait a minute. he's actually good at this. Like you said, he's fixing different things. My mom has any issues on her cell phone. He's like, oh, I can fix it. You don't have to get her a new phone. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I think we're on to something here. And that's when I started to find opportunities to fuel that, because it was no longer a passion. It almost felt like, okay, well, maybe this is his purpose, And also last summer, he was doing the public safety program in the city of Orange with the Orange Police Department, the mayor, the council people, and as well as the fire department. So that also gave him another experience, because a year prior, he was actually a student in the program. And then last summer, he was able to be a counselor. So I try to give him different well-rounded opportunities so he can figure out what it is that he wants to do, and also, of course, earn money as well. But any opportunity that I see, anything that I can find, not only do I make sure he has it, but also post it on my social media, because I don't believe in being a gatekeeper. I want to make sure, like I said, everyone, all of our people have the same opportunities. You need help with applying, contact. And I tell people that all the time. Here's my email, contact me, take your phone out. Here's my Blink, take a picture of it. If you need me, send me an email, whatever it may be.
Great. Well, that's the final word where we needed to hear from the moms, because we want you to almost be a role model to some of the mothers that are out there that are struggling, trying to figure out how to get it done. And I know it wasn't easy. So brothers, if we could all give this sister a round of applause, just say, she did it. She did it. She did it. Thank you.
Well, definitely takes a village, because like you said, there's the mentorship. I also have to give credit to my mom. And I definitely thank you all, and more so, like I said, leaning on my mom, because without her, I wouldn't be Dr. Cherry right now. Because initially I didn't want to go to college, but my mom told me, she said, you know what, just do one semester. And if you don't like it, okay. And as you can see, I'm Dr. Cherry now. So I definitely have to give credit where it's due. So thank you, Mommy, if you're watching.
Well, hey, Mom.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to close out first with Brother Brown. Brother Brown, how can people support, or brothers in the fraternity that is watching this, how can they support the STEM committee?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. Yeah, for certain, we need to make sure that the brothers are reaching out to the STEM committee. I'm sure we'll make sure we provide the appropriate contact information as a follow-up to this. But the bottom line, though, is that we want the brothers to ensure that the second district STEM committee is aware of all the great work that they're doing within their local communities, so that we can aggregate that information in a way where we can see the overall impact of the work that we're doing throughout the second district, as well as to collaborate across the chapters so that we can continue to uplift each other as we aspire to improve our respective programs.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Steve, Jamal will go last because we're going to leave out with the kids. But brother, every chapter on the planet Earth for all of the fraternities and all of the sororities should be getting down with Future First Gaming. How do we get in contact with you?
Yeah, so first, visit our website. I'm going to throw the link to the website in the chat. It is www.futuresfirstgaming.com. So futures with an S. You can always reach out to me on my social medias. Well, so I have Instagram, YouTube, all the above, and it's Silight Real, so SYLIGHTREEL. But really, if you're interested, send an email to admin@futuresfirstgaming.com, and we'll get in touch with you. We're eager to work with everybody. We have a number of programs that we can retrofit to any of the needs out there that any of the chapters have. We're really excited about our upcoming work that we're going to be doing with you, Matt, holding the NBA 2K tournament. And then, of course, get into the Futures First Gaming Discord. If you have a Discord, Futures First Gaming, make sure you get into our Discord. You can find those links as well on our website. And we're looking forward to hearing from you and working with each and every one.
Sounds like a winner. So, Jamal, you're the most important person in this call, brother. And we say that with all of our heart. At our NBA 2K tournament, you're going to be one of the young people that's going to be helping the other young people to move forward, because now you're moving into a stage where you're going to be start to seen as the role model. You're going to be start to seen as the mentor. We're still going to mentor you throughout college, throughout graduate school, to help you become a young man and make that transition from young man to grown man. But now some of the pressure is going to be on you, because the little boys are really literally and figuratively looking up to you. Can you end us off by saying, what do you think was something that all young men should do to follow their dreams like you're following yours?
What I think all young men should do to follow their dreams, like how I'm following mine, is just stay on the right path. So through growing up and like even now, there's like a lot of stuff going on outside. Very easy to join the people out there smoking and doing what you're not supposed to be doing. And at times, depending on where you live, it can be difficult to just keep to yourself, not be too popular, just stay by yourself, stay on the right track. But that's the best thing to do for your future, for the best possible outcome.
Brothers, could we have ended it any better?
Yeah, perfect. Well said.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Darius, we went a couple of minutes over tonight, but I think it was well worth it. We could be here for another hour just chopping it up. Mm-hmm. Steve, we're really looking forward to our 2K tournament. Brother Brown, hoping that you can find a way to plug into what we're doing. We definitely need those sponsors to help us to pay for some of the prizes and some of the other things, scholarships for the kids that win. Maybe some of the prizes can be a STEM scholarship. But we're really looking for some help and some collaboration. I want to thank everybody on the behalf of our district representative, Brother Sharif. I wanted to say thank you for participating in the Q's on the Move podcast, and look forward to seeing us next week, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Everybody, have a great night. You guys stay on for a second, though.
All right.